Evasive is arguably the best ability from Lorcana in the first chapter. How exactly can it be used to its fullest potential though? After watching this video, you will know the 5 best ways to effectively use Evasive when putting it in your deck. Now, the 2 most important things to know when we're going through this is that it is used both offensively and defensively. Now, Amber has no evasive cards at all. Then Sapphire and Steel, they have no character... Sapphire and Steel have no character cards that have evasive, but they do have cards that give conditional evasive. Now, point number 1 is you want to take advantage of character cards that naturally have evasive. And this is kind of the defensive style. So first up here we have the old reliable, old rascal Pongo. Now, when Lorcana first came out, this was like the card in Ruby, because it's 4 cost, inkable, evasive, and gives you 2 lore. A lot of the other good evasive cards were either only, cheaper but 1 lore, or more expensive and, 2 or higher lore. Now, there have been other cards that have come out since, like the the stylish Surfer Minnie Mouse here from Rise of the Floodborn, which is 1 cheaper. She does have 1 less strength, but same as Pongo, evasive, and 2 lore. So actually, I quite like this card a lot. But this is just kind of like the basics of evasive. You can quest with these characters and feel safe from normal challenges that would otherwise take them out. Now, another thing to take advantage of with that is high lore gain. So let's say you have this purple dragon, Madam Mim here. Now, she's 7 cost, inkable, but once you get her out on the field, she's evasive and gets you 4 lore. So there's not a lot of characters, a lot of the normal characters without special abilities cannot take her out because of her being evasive, and just add on top of the fact that she has 5 strength, 7 willpower, a very strong character. Now, very similar to that is this Donald Duck, who, at first glance you might think, oh, it's evasive, but 1 lore, 1 strength, 5, willpower. How is this quite a strong character? Well, the thing with him that has to do with, risky plays and high lore gain is, let him get damage. Maybe challenge a character with him, get him down to, 1 or 2 remaining willpower. Every damage that he has gives him +1 lore. So he could be scoring, 4 or 5 lore on a turn, and the evasive ability keeps him protected from most threats. So you can feel better about, either challenging with him, or you could even deal damage to him yourself if you want to with certain cards, just to be able to get that increased lore gain from him. So, high lore rewards, more risky with the Donald Duck here, but that evasive does buff him quite a bit for gaining lots of lore. Now, for point number 2, we have to use conditional evasive to your own advantage. Now this, unlike what we just talked about, which was defensive, is for offensive purposes. Now, our first card here, let's say we got, Rapunzel's companion, Pascal. Now, this is going to be the only example in this that is not specifically for offensiveness, but more so defensiveness, but it is conditional. So, with Rapunzel's companion, Pascal, he only gains evasive if there is another character in play. So, turn 1, you want to play this Pascal. Turn 2, he'll become active, and then you want to play, let's say, turn 2, you play this Cogsworth. You can instantly then quest with this Pascal and feel pretty free and safe about scoring that 1 lore. Now, he's not as much of a target, but, if you didn't have this Cogsworth in, you score 1 lore, people are going to want to take him out because he could become problematic after you play a character. So typically, you want to play him and then only quest with him when you have another character in play, just to keep him safe. Now, to get to the offensive parts of it, let's start with Unrivaled Archer Robin Hood. Now, you want to use this card to take out weaker evasive characters. So if you have your Pongo here from the enemy, they've quested in game 2, and you have this Robin Hood that you played the turn before, on his turn, due to his ability Good Shot, he gains evasive. This means that if you've quested with him on your turn, he gains you 2 lore, and then on the opponent's turn, they want to attack him with a character, they would be able to do so freely, even if that character does not have evasive, because his ability only works on the player's turn that Robin Hood is played for. Now, this Robin Hood can take out that Pongo, still survive it, and you keep your opponent from gaining 2 lore every turn. Now, to a higher extent, you can use this offensively with characters like Returned King Simba here. Now, he, just like the Robin Hood card from Pounce, can gain evasive on his turn, but due to his ability here of Challenger +4, giving him 8 strength total, he can take out even stronger characters. So if your opponent has, playing defensively, a Madam Mim card in play there, gaining 4 lore, you want to take that out. Having this Simba in play to be able to challenge and take out that Madam Mim card in 1 hit, now, and actually survive it with your Simba if he has no damage on him, is a very great way to offensively use evasion if it is conditional for that specific character. Now, building off of that, we're getting into point 3 here, which is granting evasive to characters for the most opportune use. Now, for these characters, they are having to do with giving evasive to these specific characters on their turn. What we're going to get into is characters like this most helpful Tinkerbell here, where, yes, she is evasive herself, but when you play her, your chosen character gains evasive this turn. So this can be quite useful if you have, like, let's say, a Captain Hook here, you got a Pongo out from your opponent. What you can do is play the Tinkerbell card. You can use your ability here, Pixie Dust, to grant that Captain Hook evasive, and then with his Challenger ability, can kill or banish the Pongo on his turn. Now that would trade, but with this 1-cost Captain Hook to get rid of this 4-cost Pongo that's gaining 2 lore every turn, it's a great use of her ability there to offensively give evasive. Now, another example, let's say as well, is you got this genie here who has 5 strength, gaining 3 lore, and his ability, whenever he quests, you can play an action with 5 cost or less for free. That is quite a strong card. So if you have a Teika out on play here and you play the Tinkerbell, not only can you give her evasive to take out that Powers Unleashed genie, but also due to Heartless Teika's ability, whenever she banishes another character, you gain 2 lore. So this is a very opportune way where not only are you taking out the opponent's very strong card, but you're using one of your own to not only survive the challenge, but also get her ability off to gain 2 lore. Just a very good of granting, a good use of granting evasive on a turn. Let's get those off to the side there. And the next card I'm going to talk about here, which is very similar, is Archery Instructor Li Shang. Now, let's say you got your evasive Pongo, your evasive Tinkerbell, kind of the situation we were talking about earlier, actually. And you got a Captain Hook and a Teika out. Unlike this Tinkerbell, where, it's only when you play her, if you have this Li Shang out, you get to quest, gain 2 lore, and then both of these characters would gain evasive. And for that turn, be able to take out, the opposing characters there, and you get it every time he quests. And it is important to note with this character that it says your characters gain evasive, which includes him as well. Now, unless you have an ability in your deck where you can ready him again so he could challenge, you wouldn't really get any use out of giving him evasive, but very useful for getting rid of an opponent's field if they have a lot of evasive characters out in play and you do not. So, the last part that we're going to talk about with this is specific to a new card in Rise of the Floodborn, Peter Pan's Shadow. Now, just like the other 2 cards, how they give evasive to other characters, Peter Pan's Shadow is both evasive and rush, and he's able to give other characters with rush evasive. So this is, you know, a little bit more conditional, but very important, where if you have opponents out in front of you, like let's say a Pongo here, and let's even say the opponent has a Pascal out, where you can use your Peter Pan Shadow, play it, rush and take out the Pascal, and then you can use its ability to then, let's say, play the Madam Mim card, rush out with it, and take out the Pongo. Just being able to use this to your ability, best of your ability. So if you're playing a lot of Peter Pan Shadows, it would make sense to have, you know, a few cards that have rush in your deck as well, in order to gain the benefits of having both those together. Now, for point 4 here, we have, you know, being able to use the new item and action card to their fullest if being run in a deck. Now, let's get these off to the side, and let us start with Peter Pan's Dagger. Now, when it came to evasive before Rise of the Floodborn, it was just either on-character cards, or the ability itself was on-character cards, or character cards would be able to gain evasive or grant evasive in different ways. But with Rise of Bloodborne, we have an item card here, which is your characters with evasive gain +1 strength. You know, so let's get back to our example here of, you know, Peter Pan Shadow is out, and you have Madam Mim that you just played. If you have Peter Pan's Dagger out, and there's, let's say, a genie there, you can now banish him in one turn with this Madam Mim, who can then rush, take him out. A pretty good trade, you know, 3 lore for 1 lore plus his ability there. And, you know, Lorcana can be a game of math sometimes, where you're just trying to get to that number you need to take out your opponent, and cards like this do it and add some value to not only, let's say, your offensive capabilities of being able to rush and damage, but then let's say that you want to play, you know, your Pascal or Pongo. Let's get those there. And you have Peter Pan's Dagger. They now hit harder back and deal more damage to your opponent when they are forced to offensively deal with your defensive evasive characters. So a very useful item when it comes from that aspect. And then the other one we have here is a song that is 2-cost inkable. You Can Fly. For this song, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. Now, one of the disappointing things about the Tinkerbell here, whenever I would do it, is that it's only on your turn, and typically when I had the best opportunity to play this card to get the 2 lore gain, you know, for defensive purposes, was never when I would be able to use this ability offensively, because that's the only time it can be, since it's only on this turn. Whereas You Can Fly now makes it where you can defensively play this card to grant a character evasive. So, let's say, for instance, we've got Pain in play, and you've got support cards or Panic that are able to get him up to 5 strength, and you want to be able to quest with him for 3. Now, once this happens and he gains you the 3 lore, it would make most sense for your opponent to use their cards to take him out before he can do something like that again. With You Can Fly, though, you can play that, give him evasive, and he's way more safe than he was before, and then at the top of your next turn, you've readied him now, and now you can use that ability again if you're able to great extent. Now, this is going to lead us into the 5th way here, which is to use evasive granting tribal combos. Now, I know that's a lot of words at once, and you might be confused at what exactly I'm saying there, but there are currently 2 examples of this in the game, where cards that combo with each other, and it's not just, you know, like Li Shang, where he can combo with other characters to give them evasive, or Peter Pan Shadow that can combo with Rush. I mean specific to other cards. And the first one I'm going to talk about here is Jetsam and Flotsam, both of them being Ursula's Spy. Now, of course, with Flotsam, he's a Rush, and the way that he combos with Jetsam, that I'm not really going to get too much into, is your character's named Jetsam gain Rush. But for the purposes of this video, Jetsam's ability, he has evasive, and your character's named Flotsam gain evasive. So if you have a Jetsam in play, I like him overall because, you know, he can be a nice little lore gain with the one that he gets whenever you quest with him. but he can take out Pongos, which only has 2 strength, and survive that attack, since he has 3 strength himself and 3 defense. But also, if you have a Flotsam that you can play, you know, turn 4 you put out this Jetsam, turn 5 you put out this Flotsam, just like with Peter Pan's Shadow, he can then rush and hit evasive characters since he has evasive, and then once he's out, let's say you don't want to really take advantage of the rushing or attacking, he has evasive just like Jetsam and can score that 2 lore a turn. So having these characters out, you know, let's say you really want to get the most out of this, have 4 of each in a deck that can really combo with each other very well. The last one, the second and last one I'm going to talk about here is the Musketeers. Now we have Donald Duck Musketeer, Mickey Mouse Musketeer, and Goofy Musketeer. The one I'm going to focus on here is Donald Duck. For his ability Stay Alert during your turn, this Musketeer gains, your Musketeer characters gain Evasive, which means they can challenge characters with Evasive. So this is an offensive way of getting the temporary strength boost, but you know, it's really good for characters, especially if you combo with Mickey Mouse, who, you know, your other Musketeer characters get +1 strength. So we got Goofy here then, who has 3 strength normally, so that brings him up to 4, and now with that 4 strength and 6 willpower, he can attack offensively against evasive characters. So they all kind of combo with each other, but when it comes to being evasive, the Donald Duck grants it to them all, which just allows you to be able to take care of any of those pesky opponent evasive characters. So here you can see so many evasive cards, just way too many to go over in this video all at once. But I just wanted to show them all lined up, just barely able to fit them all in. And you know, with more sets to come, this is just going to grow. And that's the 5 important tips you will need to know when using Evasive in Lorcana. If you're looking for more videos on Lorcana, check out the playlist or video here. Until next time, have fun and quest on.